Welcome to the personal Tanya for the 6th of Shvat. Today is day 44. What we've been learning so far in our quest for self-mastery, we've been trying to reach and maintain the status of the Beinoni. The Beinoni, the struggling Jew, is defined by the person who's able to control their thought, speech, and action, making sure that they are fully consistent with the godly soul alone and not expressive of the animal soul at all in thought, speech, or action. After we discussed the long method, which is through meditation, we're now in the process of going through the shortcut method of reaching and maintaining the Beinoni status, and that is through arousing the hidden love, which is natural to our godly soul. We've learned that this hidden love only becomes revealed when faced with a test to denounce our faith. When faced with a do or die moment, a moment of idolatry. Hence, we're on a journey to redefine our perception of the universe, where everything is a part of God, and any rejection of God or a rejection of God's will is an act of idolatry. If we would be able to redefine our perception of the world as a world which is one with God, and that every sin is a rejection of God, we'd be able to unleash the hidden love within us at every moment, every time we're faced with the desire to sin. So that's what we're doing today in the Tanya today, as we're diving deeper into the Jewish Hasidic belief in Achdus Hashem and monotheism, where we're effectively learning that the world does not exist. I know that's sensational, but take a look at this. So monotheism is not the belief that God is not just the belief that God is the only God, because that's obvious. Monotheism, one God, is the belief that God is not just the only God, but that God is the only entity that exists. Nothing exists outside of God, not even the world. Hence, we say each day in our morning prayers, Atahu Achaleni Broilam, Atahu Mishani Broilam. You are He before the world was created, and you are He since the world was created, which means that creation caused no change in God. The creation of the world made no difference in God, which means that God was alone before the world was created, and God is also alone after the world was created. This is deep stuff, so hold on. You see, Tanya today explains that the world was created by God through God's speech, through God's voice. Now, if creation is from the word of God, and one word is nothing compared to God himself, one spoken word is nothing compared to God. Hence, we are totally dependent on an energy that is meaningless to God, because we're created by a mere word of God. Creation via voice. Let there be light, and there was light. The 10 utterances were the original creations, the original energies of creation that continue to create the world every single moment in time, the 10 divine utterances. And this is why creation makes no impact on God, because creation is created by an insignificant energy of God, a mere word of God. And hence God is one, the only existence even after the world was created. In other words, not only is the entire universe dependent upon God for its existence through perpetual creation, but more than that, that very energy which God sustains, with which God sustains the world, is insignificant compared to God himself. Let's get a little bit more specific with the process. You see, one word is immaterial compared to your own soul's power of speech, because your soul can speak endless words. One word is insignificant to your power of speech. How much more so is one word insignificant to your soul's power of thought, which is the source of speech? And how much more so is one word insignificant to the soul itself, to the emotions and the intellect? A single word is completely insignificant to my own feelings and my own understanding, the essence of my soul. So when we look at the evolution of an idea within us, we'll notice that initially, when a desire arises in your heart, before you think about it, it's just a feeling. It's not defined, it's not clarified, it's not fleshed out. There's not even any definition. That comes much later when you put it into thought. For example, if you want to spend time with someone you love, you don't know where, you don't know with who, you don't know when, you don't know how. You just know that there's a feeling that you crave. It's abstract. It's not yet defined because it's not yet descended into your thoughts and into your words. If we have a feeling, an abstract feeling when it's a feeling, how much more so if it's just an awareness of a pleasurable experience? There's no definition or clarity yet. It's just a general awareness. Only after awareness descends into feeling, there's still no definition, and then it rises back into the brain for conscious thoughts. Now does it become defined and clarified with letters. Then it descends into speech with letters. That's a much lower level in the evolutionary process of an idea within us. So we see that within us, we go from awareness to feeling, to thought, which is clarified, to speech, which is even more defined. So you see that one word or one sentence is insignificant to the power of speech, insignificant to the power of thought, insignificant to the feeling, and certainly insignificant to the awareness of the soul itself. And if that is true of the way it works within a human being, then the same metaphor, the same analog applies within God. So one word spoken by God is nothing compared to God's power of speech, which is nothing compared to God's power of thought, which is nothing compared to God's feelings, and nothing compared to God's wisdom. Hence, if we are created by God's voice, by God's speech, anthropomorphically speaking, it means that our entire existence is dependent upon an insignificant energy of God, which means, therefore, that the entire world is insignificant to God. If the original source of energy that creates this world at every moment in time, even that, God's speech, is insignificant to God, how much more so is the effect, which is the creation of this world, insignificant before God? And hence, there is nothing that exists other than God. God is alone before the world was created, and God is alone after this world was created. What this means is that God is everywhere. There's a beautiful story of the Rebbe Maharash, the fourth Chabad Rebbe, who used to enjoy carving wood. As a boy, he was carving wood with a penknife. And an elder chassid came over to him and he said, I'll give you this expensive pocket knife if you can tell me where God is. The very wise boy responded to him. And he said, if you can tell me where God is not, I will give you my penknife. The elder chassid was impressed, and he gave the young Rebbe Maharash his pocket knife. And that is why the world is never separate from God. The world cannot exist without God, and even the world as it's created by God is being created by an energy which is so insignificant compared to God himself, that even the cause of this world, the energy of voice that creates this world, is insignificant before God. Hence, this entire universe is nothing before God. God is alone. As we develop this beautiful idea, there's an important discrepancy which comes up in tomorrow's Tanya. We've used the human evolution of an idea from the mind to the spoken word as a metaphor to the analog, which is God's energy evolving from his wisdom to his spoken word. But tomorrow, we'll identify the important discrepancy between the metaphor and the analog. But for today, that's a wrap. Let's try to apply. You can do this.